Welcome to another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show. Once again, another exciting show. I am pleased to have, by way of Zoom, one of the best Notre Dame football players. Let me go back, because when you say Notre Dame, that's people's like, who's the best? You can't really determine who the best player is at Notre Dame. So let me clarify that. But one thing I can tell you, to get on the Notre Dame's football team, those who saw Rudy, this is what I might call the real Rudy. I listened to his journey. I listened to the things that he went through, the things that he overcome prior to him coming onto the show. Clearly, he is what I call Rudy to Notre Dame. Welcome to the Andre The Beast Crayton Show, Mr. I got to give him a good action like Mr. Magnificent. Mr. Rod Smith. Welcome to the show, big guy.
I appreciate you having me, Andre. It's a pleasure, man.
Hey, I followed your career. I know your journey. We're not on a time schedule. We got to do part one and part two because this is such an impactful topic. Because let's be real, to have that Notre Dame on your helmet, to walk through that tunnel, you got to be special. The fans are special, everybody, but you're on that team, you're special. Take the viewers down the journey to Notre Dame.
Well, Andre, it would be remiss not to start at the beginning. Kind of some of the big ideas that got me to a place where I could even to get to that school. Right. I think the first thing that happened to me, big idea that changed my life for the better, happened to be in third grade. We lived in Shoreview, Minnesota. There aren't a lot of brothers living in Minnesota, let alone in Shoreview, St. Paul, the suburbs.
How many actually live there? 3.
Listen, I mean, it was my dad and I, and maybe another couple. Seriously, like. I was one of 2 Black kids in my entire elementary school. Okay, I mean, it was her name was Angela, and I only saw her, like once a week. You know what I mean? Like, it was crazy.
Really?
But I'm young, so I don't, I don't know. I'm just a kid, just trying to do my thing. And in third grade, well, first of all, my second grade year, the teachers brought my parents in and said, hey, we think Rod's got ADHD. He's hyper. He's bouncing off the walls. He's always talking. He's high activity, and we think he should be on Ritalin.
Right.
My dad, who worked at the hospital, Ramsey County Hospital, ended up on the board of directors, but at the time was running the mental health division, said that, yeah, we're not going to do that because it affects brain development. So we're going to have to monitor his behavior another way. And if he gets out of line, you give me a call and I'll come down here and get it straightened out. Right. My dad was high on discipline. All right. So fast forward to my third grade year, I'm hyperactive, I'm bouncing off the walls, I'm being sent to the principal's office all the time. I got enough problems as it is. So when the kids started calling me the N-word and stealing my hat and teasing me, I didn't want to cause any more problems. It wasn't the time to get in a fight and have my dad come down. I'm already on the edge. Mm-hmm. So I just took it. After about 2 or 3 weeks of this, I'm at the dinner table with my dad, and he looks at me and he goes, what's wrong? And I go, no, I'm fine. I'm looking down. And he goes, no, something's wrong with my son. I know my son. What's wrong? He turns off McNeil and Lair. And I said, they're calling me the N-word and they're stealing my hat at school. He puts his fork down, he turns and looks at me, and he says, that word is used, that's not teasing. That word is being used against you to rob you of your personhood, to rob you of your manhood. And we're not gonna have that. This isn't teasing, that's different. You have my permission. If the kid calls you the N-word, steals your hat, if the teachers aren't gonna, you tell the teacher first, hey, this kid's calling me the N-word. If they don't defend you, The next time that kid calls you the N-word, you have my permission to punch him in the face. Nah, we don't want injuries like in the mouth area. We don't want to cause anybody any permanent damage. But if the teacher would defend you, then you defend you.
Did the teachers defend you? Did you go to the staff?
I did go to teachers and say, hey, little Johnny is calling me the N-word. And they said, oh, little Johnny, you shouldn't do that. We're going to put you in timeout for 10 minutes. And guess what Johnny would do? Wait till lunch and he'd do it again.
Okay.
Right? So the teachers would say something, but they didn't have any teeth behind that. So the kid would do it again. Right?
That's kind of crazy, Rob. But check this out. Where you lived at, was this, I know you was young, but was this widely accepted in where you were at?
And you know what, Andre, that's a great question. And that's a really good, deeper, evaluating question. And here's what I think, honestly, is that Minnesota is one of the most homogeneous environments I've ever been in.
Okay.
I mean, like, there's not a lot. I mean, there's racism everywhere, right? There's right. Everybody's got confirmation bias and all that kind of stuff. But in Minnesota, it's one of the places where I found it the least. Okay. Right. I don't think these kids are racist. I think these kids they had a word that could cause damage and they were just playing with it. That they were just third grade boys and they're like, oh, I got this word that I can use on him. I got this word I can use on a Chinese kid in my class. I got this word I can use on women in my class. And they're just experimenting with the words.
Experimenting with words and not knowing the ramifications that those words, the impact of those words.
Yeah, a third grader doesn't know the history of slavery, and I mean, he doesn't know that. He's just using this word because he probably heard his dad say it.
I was getting ready to say somebody said it, but keep going with the story.
He didn't get it off of the Brady Bunch, right? So he heard it somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. He heard it somewhere. So my dad says, yeah. So you can defend yourself. And it's funny hearing my dad's version of the story because my dad says, as soon as the words left my mouth, I regretted it instantly because I forgot who I was talking to. I know my son's a savage. I know he's hyperactive. And I go, oh, I just cut him loose. It's going to be crazy. Because I looked at my dad just like, are you serious?
What was your dad like? So the viewers can get an idea of the type of man that your dad actually was. Because when you say you worked at a hospital, he's on the board of directors, you see probably a dude with a business suit, well-mannered, but your dad was a savage too. He played football.
Here's how this kid is. This dude never knew his father. He was adopted on a sharecroppers in Florida. Okay, and then they wanted to take the business. They were making so much money, the sharecropper business, that they kept taking a greater percentage, until finally they said, we got to get out of here. They moved to Paterson, New Jersey. My dad figured out on his own. Nobody in his family had ever gone to college. Only his dad, only his adopted father was the only person in his family that ever graduated high school.
Wow.
But he realized that the way forward is through education. That's the way that he can level the playing field, is through education. The more educated he becomes, the greater opportunity he's going to have in life. So his goal was to get as much education as possible. So he played football. Right. Because playing football gave him a chance to get into community college. And community college gives him a chance to get into a four-year school. Mm-hmm. So he studied his tail off. He played football at a high level. He got to community college, Voorhees University. Okay. He did 2 years at Voorhees. Then he got a scholarship to Indiana State, where he met my mom. All right. And then graduated with honors. And then went on to the University of Minnesota on a full scholarship to get his master's. Like, he literally came from nothing. Was on public assistance in New Jersey, and worked his way to community college, worked his way to a four-year college, and then worked his way to graduate degree. I mean, like self-made man from the ground up in a time where Black men weren't getting step up. We're moving up. Okay.
You know what's so empowering about you saying that? You can see the proudness in your speak, the proudness in your eye, but more importantly, the fact that you know your father's legacy. You know your mom's legacy. You know what it takes. So now, keep going with that story about the little kid calling you the word that nobody should be saying.
Yeah. So sure enough. So my dad. Here's the key thing though. Is that at the dinner table he said, "Listen, I got to tell you something. Here's what's going to happen. You need to get prepared for this. The third grader is going to call you the N-word. You're going to throw a punch and you're going to win the fight. And then he's going to tell his big brother, who's a fifth grader, What happened? And then that fifth grader is going to call you the N-word. And when you punch him, he's going to beat the hell out of you. You're going to take a butt kicking. And when that happens, I will leave the hospital. I will drive to school and I'll meet with you, the parents, and the teachers, and we'll figure it out. And then we're going to go to Dairy Queen, which is my favorite thing at the time. We're going to Dairy Queen, and then we're going to put some alcohol on your wounds, get some Band-Aids on you, and then you're going to go back to school the next day. And when that fifth grader calls you N-word again the next day, and you punch him in the face, he's going to beat the hell out of you again. And then I'm going to leave the hospital. And then I'm going to come down and meet with the teacher and the parents. And we're going to put alcohol on your wounds, we're going to put Band-Aids on, and you're going to go back to school the next day. And when he calls you the N-word again, you're going to punch him again, you're going to take another butt kicking. So the question is, you got to make a decision. Is it worth it to you to defend yourself, to defend your last name, to defend your mother, myself, your brother, your grandmother, your grandfather? Is it worth it to you? And if it is, I'll leave the hospital and I'll get your back every time. And we'll keep going back until that fifth grader quits. If you think you're up for it. And he had a bite of his steak.
Man.
And I said to myself, listen, I'm willing to do this. I'm willing, we'll just die out here. You know what I mean? But I'm not having somebody call me that word again. I know how bad it is. I knew it was bad, and I'm not taking it anymore. And I went to school and, knocked out the third grader, and the parents came in, we had the meeting and all that good stuff. And then the fifth grader started calling me N-word. I punched him in the face and I got beat up 2 times in a row.
Yeah.
And finally, the principal stepped into the meeting and said, hey, listen, we need to make some changes in the school. This is the second time we've been in here. They're beating up Rod because they're calling him the N-word. And the principal stepped in, had put an announcement over the entire speakers about the changing policy, and that happens again, that the kid is going to be expelled immediately. We're not gonna question Rod on this thing. The next time Rod comes in here after being in a fight because somebody called him the N-word, that kid is out of this school. Yeah, the principal stepped in on it, and that squashed it.
Yeah,
but the thing is, the reason I tell that story,
you might as well consider yourself the person that really changed the policy in your school. I mean, yeah, you took some ass whoopings and gave some ass whoopings, but because of your efforts, you addressed something. This is even more fucked up. You got a society of adults that didn't take the shit seriously from the get-go.
That's right.
Yeah. That's sad. But go
That's
ahead.
Right.
Where are we going now with this? You took care of business. Now what happens in your journey to Notre Dame?
Yeah. Well, to put a bow on that, here's the thing, Andre, that did for me. And I've always wondered about this. Like, what happens to kids that don't have a dad like I had? You know what I mean? Number one, because
or a support system, period.
Right? I mean, had I not known that the reason I did it is because I'm kind of built that way a little bit, but I wouldn't have done it on my own. I did it because I knew that my dad had my back and that he was going to drive to the school immediately and get my back and defend me and support me and it makes me want to cry and take care of his son. I knew I had this 6'1" monster behind me, who played football in college. Who it's funny, kind of getting in front of a story a little bit, but who wanted to go to Notre Dame, but at the time Notre Dame was only having 5 or 6 black kids on the team at the same time.
Right.
That was it. And listen, Notre Dame was ahead of the schedule. Don't get me wrong. Notre Dame was one of the first schools in the country to have African Americans on their ball club, right? Yeah. But at the time, they were only going to have a couple. So Alan Page and a couple other guys had those scholarships.
Put a lot of pepper on the eggs.
Yeah. Right. Right. Listen, that's what it is, right? So so having him as my backup, Andre, it gave me a sense of self-worth, a sense of self-pride,
right.
a sense that I have value, and that even if it's just value to myself and my dad, there are a couple people out there that care and are not going to allow other people or forces to take advantage of us. I had support. My dad had my back, and I had my back. And having that self-love empowers, to this day empowers me. Things go bad things happen. We lose business deals and we lose speaking gigs, and I get close on a staffing deal on a $200,000 job, and it fizzles at the last minute, and I don't break down. I'm like, listen, I can handle this. I can work through this. I have pride in what I'm doing. I have pride in myself. And that's, I got that sense in third grade,
Let me
right?
ask the question, Rod. If you didn't, and I know this is hypothetical question, but take your mind back a little bit to that moment. I know we don't want to go back there, but this is hypothetically. What if you didn't have that? Would you, do you think that you would have taken matters into your own hands if you didn't have that strong force behind you?
I'll be honest. I don't know. I don't know. Like, it's something weird, but like I built my foundation off of that.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that anybody can't do it on their own. And maybe, and I mean maybe. I'm not saying no, but I'm saying that like that was that whole third grade thing built a foundation of competition, of competing at a high level, of not being afraid to push myself, not being afraid to take a butt kick, and not being afraid to fail. And a lot of times when you move up from high school to college, college to the pros, you're playing against guys that are bigger, faster, strong. You know how it goes. You get to the pros, everybody's bigger, faster, stronger than you, and it's intimidating. But you have to dive in there and attack and actualize your worth, even in a situation where you're not sure you could win.
Mhm.
When you know you can't beat that fifth grader, you got to go get him anyway and send a message, right? Like, even though you know you are going to lose, you have to go in there and compete like hell. And a lot of people don't have that because they've never been in a, never had people support them losing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, to get support, knowing you're going to lose is different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It gives you a different foundation, and that whole process gave me a foundation in bricks that I could build on. Like, yeah, I mean, I like to think I'm built that way.
I think
But
sometimes you have to understand the art of losing and defeat to build even a stronger foundation. I think what happens is a lot of people don't embrace the fact of losing because we've been so encouraged to win instead of realizing that, you know what, you might need to get knocked down a couple of times to understand the beauty of the win, the journey of getting there. But now,
you're 100% right.
but now, since that's done, take us down a little bit more of that journey to your life to Notre Dame.
Okay, so next big idea was my freshman year in high school. So I didn't play any football until my freshman year in high school, not a single down. Okay, so I go to for football as a freshman, make the team, move the tailback, have a decent year, have a good year. But you know, I'm not very physical yet. You know, I'm still running real high and all that good stuff, taking shots. And my freshman year, my dad says, "Hey, listen, if you want to be a great football player, a great basketball player," because I thought I was going to be a basketball player at this time. I was still a basketball player here. So he says, "Listen, you're going to want to run track, okay, and develop your speed. It's one of your assets, and you have to develop it to the best of your ability. You have to run track." And I was like, "Man, I'm not really interested in running track, but if you think it's going to help me be successful, then I'll do it." So I go up for track. First day of track, Mr. Field says, "Hey, Rod, I know you're fast because he's my coach in football." He says, "Listen, I'm going to put you with Mike Murphy." I go, "Great." Mike Murphy was the Minnesota State 400-meter dash champion as a junior. Okay, he took a full ride at the University of Minnesota track scholarship. He was a monster. Okay, nationally ranked in the 400, which is a brutal race. So I'm thinking, okay, cool. I'm with Mike Murphy. I'm like, all right, we're gonna run the sprint workout. And he goes, no. Mike doesn't do the sprint workout. He has his own special workout because he's in a completely different class than everybody else in the state of Minnesota. I was like, that's kind of weird, but all right, whatever. So it was just Mike and I.
Right.
And listen, Andre, here's how it started. A 2-hour run was the start. These were like 8-minute miles. That was the warm up. I never run a mile in my life.
And I know
2
what you're
miles was the
talking
warm
about because I ran the mile, the 2 mile cross country, the relay. Those are grueling. And for you to do the 40 and you got to run that, oh my God.
That was the warm. I listen. It's funny. I thought the workout was over. I thought, okay, 2 mile run. Like, that's our workout for the first practice. He was like, no. That was the warm up. We're getting ready to start the workout now. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I was already dead. Okay, so then we run 4 800s, 4 400s, 4 200s, 4 100s. That's the first day. I am exhausted. I literally go back after the practice. I go back in the locker room, I throw up.
I was going to say,
I
did you
threw up.
throw up? Did you cramp?
I threw up. I cramped. I mean, and I don't mean like a cramp in your calf.
Yeah,
No. We're not talking calves. I'm talking about like hamstring glute cramp, right? You feel me? I mean, like I'm like a buck 60, and I left that practice at like 47, buck 47. I mean, I lost like 13 pounds. This was the first practice. I was in so much pain. So I did this for about 3 weeks. He's just kicking my teeth in every day. Andre, I threw up every other practice. I was throwing up after practice. Okay. So I'm at the dinner table. Same thing. My dad looks at me and goes, "Hey, what's going on?" I go, "No, I'm good." He's like, "No, something's not right with my son." He turns off the television. He goes, "What's going on?" I said, "Dad, I'm gonna quit track." He put his fork down. He looked at me. He said, "Here's what you can do. You can stay in track for another 4 weeks. Okay, you made a commitment. So we're gonna get through these first track meets for 4 weeks, and then after 4 weeks, if you still want to quit, then we'll talk about it again. But just because you're having a bad day or you're in a lot of pain, it's uncomfortable, that's not when we quit. Okay, it's time to evaluate, but we're not quitting. We don't just quit because we had a couple bad days. We don't feel good about it. You're gonna stick in there for 4 more weeks, and we'll revisit it again. So here's what my dad does, and I go, "Okay, Dad, I'll fight this thing off best I can." And I was almost ready to cry. There was so much pain. My dad went behind my back. He talked to Mr. Fields, the head track coach, and he says, "Hey, Mr. Fields, Rod's getting ready to quit. You need to help him out." And he goes, "Oh, I got the perfect thing. I'll put him in the all freshman meet. He'll dominate." Because I was running in all the varsity meets, getting fifth, fourth, fifth, third, fifth, sixth. I wasn't winning anything. I was doing all this work with Mike Murphy, and I wasn't winning anything. All right, and I wanted to quit. So here's what happens. I go out in the freshman meet, Andre. I win the 100, 200, 400 long jump. I don't even high jump. I win the high jump. I win everything. I dominate everything. And I go, I'm actually getting faster. I'm getting better at this thing. Like, okay, I'm in on this track thing. And here's what that did for me. Even as a freshman, I knew this. I was like, I was getting ready to quit running track. That is doing so much good for me. Right. Look what happened when I ran against other freshmen. I dominated.
Right.
But I was getting ready to quit because I wasn't having success. Quit at something that's obviously going to give me a huge leg up on my peers. It made me the best freshman in the state. Right. But I didn't know this because I was running against seniors. So I kept losing. So what it did for me, I remember what it did for me is it separated the work from the reward.
Right.
We decide what we're going to work on, and we are going to grind into the ground, in the teeth of this thing, into the ground until we can't walk. If we got to throw up every other day, we're going to do that. Even if we get last, because we know if we keep doing this work, if we keep working over time, the results will change. And a lot of times you can't see the results. I didn't know where I was in relationship to other freshmen until I ran in that meet. Right? I didn't know it was getting better. I didn't know I was dominant. I just thought I can't win anything. I can't barely make the finals. You know what I mean? In these track meets. I'm ready to quit. So I had to separate the work from the reward. That's the first big idea I had.
Did you, when this happened and you went back and shared with your father, was your father at these events? Did he saw
every single one of them?
The progression and then the progression?
Every single one of them. My dad missed one high school event that I played in as a track meet at Anoka, just a dual meet, because he had a meeting. He was at every single track meet, every single basketball game, every single football game without fail. Really? I don't mean late. I mean like he was waiting for the kickoff or the tip off or the track, the whistle every single time.
So your dad saw you getting third, fourth, and fifth. Didn't say anything. He waited on you to come to him about what was going on.
He sure did. He waited for me. He waited for me first to bring it to him and say, I don't want to do this anymore. And he said, well, stick it out a little bit longer.
So now that you elevated and you're dominating, let's continue with this road to Notre Dame.
Okay. So I'm a sophomore, and late in the season, we have a good football team. I mean, we're like third in the state. We're really good. And playoffs are coming around. We got a dominant running game. In our starting running back, it's injured. In 2 practices before our semifinal game in state. So they moved me up from sophomore to varsity. First practice, Joe Hinder, our all-star linebacker, all-state superstar, great player, played at the University of Minnesota. We did this drill called Oklahoma, where there are guys lined up in their bags in the middle, and then guys are lined up on each side. You know what I'm talking about? And you got the pad in your hand, and you're trying to like knock the guy down or make him fumble the football with the guys jumping over the pads. Okay, so I do that. I go in the drill. Joe Hamburger knocks me to the ground. Okay, strips the ball out of my hand. Okay, and then starts beating with the pads, and I kind of like lay down, and the coach goes, "Hey, you got to get the ball. You got to finish the drill." So now I'm scrambling, trying to get the ball. All these seniors are pounding me with the bags. I'm crawling on the ground, trying to find the ball. I finally get the ball and literally roll over to the finish line.
Right.
Embarrassed. My dad's standing up there watching practice. Okay. I couldn't be more embarrassed. Okay. Just got punked. So listen, but I'm hot. I'm steaming. So now I'm on the other side, and I've got the bag in my hand. Okay. So now here comes Joe Hinder come running in. All right. So I jump in front of the bag and I block the bag and I hit him, pow, like this. All right. And then I punch the ball out. Pow, I knock the ball out. All right. And then and the coach goes, "Hey, you can't knock the ball out. You can't block the drill, bro." I said, "What?" And I just said, "I thought you said you got to get the ball." And then I kicked it. I said, "You said you got to go get the ball." And I kept hitting him with the bag. And he was punching me and I was hitting him with the bag. And then I said, "You got to go get the ball." And you told me to get the ball. He's got to get the ball. Drill's not over yet. I hit him again with the bag. He hit me. So now he goes over and gets the ball. I'm chasing him, hitting him with the bag. Joe Hinder grabs me after he scores a touchdown. He grabs me, throws me on the ground on his back. And I swear to God, Andre, I had tears in my eyes. I thought, oh my God, this guy's about to kill me. There's no way I can beat this guy. He's so much bigger, faster, stronger than I am.
Yeah.
And I look up and I'm getting ready to fight. I'm trying to find his face. And I finally see his face. And he's looking at me and he's smiling. And he goes, hey, calm down. I'm just trying to get you ready for Anoka. All right. This is playoff football. I'm trying to get you ready. All right. You're the starting tailback next week. Calm down. I'm just trying to get you ready to go. That's all this is. I thought it was personal.
Wow.
It wasn't personal. He's just trying to get me ready. But here's what happened. Andre, this is maybe the second biggest block that's ever fallen in my head. I am never taking another shot the rest of my life. It is Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. It is be proactive. It is act or be acted upon. It's Stephen Covey. Be proactive. You either act or you're acted upon. And then at that moment I said, every time I see somebody the rest of my life, you're going to see pads. There's no more hitting Rod Smith. There's no more taking shots. From now on, every time I see somebody, you're getting helmet and pads. You feel me? My shoulders are going to be down and I'm going to be driving into your chest. Every single time, everywhere I go, you can count on you getting pads. Completely changed my running style. I went from averaging 7, 8, 9 yards a carry to averaging 4.4 yards a carry.
Wow.
I was grinding people out. I was running out of the eye in high school 45 times. 4 yards a carry. And looking to put punishment on everybody. Tom Lemmy, the #1 college scout in the country, my senior year said that Rod Smith, state champion, the 100, 200 meter dash, you would think he's a speed guy at 175 pounds, but he's a savage. He's an in-between the tackle, grind you out running back with a mean streak like nobody in the country. There's a tailback in Minnesota named Rod Smith that is as physical as any player in high school football in this country. That's what he said about me. I was putting pain on people.
How did that make you feel knowing that all of the stuff that you went through, all of a sudden your senior year, the scouts are coming out? This is a 2-part question. When you saw that, how did that make you feel? And then now that you're a senior and you're being labeled as the man, what schools are coming after you? Because I'm pretty sure Notre Dame wasn't the first on your list.
It's a great question. And my dad and I did some study, and my dad's a very cerebral guy, and he's like, hey, listen, let's have a talk about this college football thing. That's you're not gonna be a basketball player. You're you're 5'11" and a half. Like, you're not going to be an all-star point guard. So we're going to do the football thing. If you're a state player of the year, the chances of you playing 3 years in the National Football League are 5%. I'm gonna say that again. When I talk to kids, I tell them this. I go, listen, if you're the best player in your state, the chances that you play 3 years in the National Football League are 1 in 20.
Wow.
So if you're counting on being a pro, you're fooling yourself. All right. There's so much luck involved in that, being in the right situation, not being injured. The chances that you're going to be a pro are small. So then what can we get out of this, all this athletic, all this work that we put in? What we can get out of it is a premium education.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to focus on. So my final schools were Stanford, Notre Dame, and Michigan.
Okay.
Because those are the schools that had some of the highest graduation rates. Michigan graduates 94% of their African-American kids. Notre Dame graduates 98% of their African-American kids. Stanford graduates 98% of their African-American kids. So I want to go to elite level colleges that have shown a track record of educating people that look like me. So that's what it went down to. It came down to the best schools, because you go to college playing football, not to go to the pros. That's a pipe dream. That's 1 out of 20. You go to college, you play football to get into a great college so that you can educate yourself. And the University of Notre Dame at that time had a policy where you had 5 years to graduate, regardless if you redshirted or not. So I figure if I go to Notre Dame, if I go to summer school every year, I can literally have an MBA by the time I'm leaving my 5th year. So like, even if it turns out that I'm 19 of those 20, that's not going to be a pro. At Notre Dame, I'm a Notre Dame MBA ex-football player headed to Chicago looking for a job. I'll start somewhere at $100,000 a year. That's the worst thing that can happen to me if I go to Notre Dame. That was a decision.
You got listed and recognized in that magazine. What was it like for you that moment? You're not recognized. You've done the work. The college is out there, but that magazine set the tone. You set the tone. What was that moment like for you?
It was it's so funny. It's very satisfying. You know what I mean? Like it's when you get that kind of recognition, it is it's good for the ego. It's very satisfying. But we know that there are always levels, and even to this day, I still go back to that experience with Joe Hamburger about being proactive. There's more. If I'm doing really well, how can I get a little bit more? How can I make it a little bit higher? I'm a great high school football player. Yeah, great. I was ranked 47th of all the high school kids coming out of high school that year. That means there are 47 guys in front of me.
Right.
And I'm trying to go get them. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, great. I'm 47th. That's pretty cool. But there's some guys in front of me, and I'm gonna go get these cats. You know what I mean? Like there's 47. That's a lot of. There's 47. That's a lot of people in front of me. So instead of looking behind me, like, oh man, I'm in front of 1 million high school football players, I was looking at the 47 guys in front of me. That was my focus. Like, listen, I'm putting pads on these guys in front of me. I can't wait to get to Notre Dame and challenge these guys. I'll tell you a little side story that's kind of funny. Why I didn't go to Michigan, what Michigan was out of the picture. Joe Schembecker told me, he said, listen, why would you go to the University of Notre Dame? They've got 4 parade All-Americans already committed there. Andre, why would he say that to me? What is he saying? That I should be scared that they're there? I should be scared that Ricky Waters and 4 parade All-Americans went the year before, and now another 4 are going, and I'm never going to play there because all these guys are better than me? Maybe what you should do is call Notre Dame and ask them, why did these other guys commit, thinking that Rod Smith might commit? Maybe they should be scared of me.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. We're up on the 30. This is great information. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to come back with part 2 of the road to Notre Dame with Rod Smith. This has been another exciting episode of the Andre the Beast Crayton Show. Cut. Now we're going to go into part 2. Okay.
Okay. So I'll go fast. I tell long stories. I'll go fast.
No, you're fine. Okay, so now we're going to do part 2. 1, 2, 3. Hi, and welcome to part 2 of the road to Notre Dame with the one, the only, Mr. Magnificent Rod Smith. Okay, so let's start where we left off. Bo Schembechler, people, Michigan's best coach, plain and simple,
Clearly.
contacts you and asks you, why are you going to Notre Dame? Take us from there.
Yeah, he said, why are you going to Notre Dame when they've got 4 Parade All-American running backs committed, and they had 4 Parade All-American running backs go there from last year's team? And I was thinking to myself, and I said, yeah, okay, I understand what you're saying, Coach. I mean, that's a consideration. But in my mind, I was thinking, forget this. He thinks I should be intimidated by the fact that they have a bunch of talent there. Maybe you should call Notre Dame and ask them why all those guys committed to Notre Dame when Rod Smith was considering going there. Maybe they should be scared of me. Okay, so and my dad always said, listen.
Too. You know what I mean? If you don't toot your own horn, who the hell's going to toot it?
My dad said, listen, go find out where the best players in the country are going and go put your hat in the ring. And listen, if you're any good, you're going to rise to the top. Yeah. If you're not any good, you won't rise to the top. Like you can't, don't go to some school where you think you're automatically going to be the starter because they don't have any talent there. Go to the school that has the best players with the highest level of competition and then go fight your teeth off. Don't ever be scared of the competition. Go find them and face them. That's where you get better. So that's what we did. So we went into Notre Dame. And it's funny. We had the number 1 recruiting class in the country. And Andre, you know how it goes. Like that Notre Dame team, 1988 national champions, were stacked, pros everywhere. The number one recruiting class in the country, and only 7 true freshmen lettered on that team. Only 7 of us, and we were the number 1 class in the country. That's how good that team was. Do you remember that class?
You remember some of the players? I know you do.
Oh yeah. Rocket Ishmael, Pennsylvania State Player of the Year. Rod Smith, Minnesota State Player of the Year. Rusty Setzer, Indiana Mr. Football State Player of the Year. Arnold Ali, California State Player of the Year, Mr. Football. Derek Brown, USA Today National Player of the Year, number 7 pick in the draft out of Florida. Walter Boyd, North Carolina State Player of the Year. Kenny Spears out of Georgia, State Player of the Year. Rusty Setzer, Indiana, State Player of the Year. We had like 10 of the State Player of the Years in that one class. And we got California, Florida. Yeah, it was crazy. It was all-star team. You know what I mean? And only seven of us lettered. And it's funny. And I'll tell you why we lettered. I'll try to be quick, but Rocket and I figured out right away that Coach Holtz played guys that knew what they were doing.
Right.
Even before talent is trust. Can the coaches trust you to do what you're supposed to do? Can they put you on the field and know that no matter what the play is, no matter what the situation is, no matter what the adjustment is, that I can trust that Rod Smith and Rocket Ishmael know what to do and are going to run the right route? Because I got moved to receiver.
I read the Lou Holtz book, one of my favorite. I'm a Miami Hurricane for life. So I put that right out there. We're gonna talk about that.
Oh, listen, I can't wait to talk to you about Miami. Shoo, man, that was awesome.
But I give credit to where credit's due. Jimmy Johnson is great. Lou Holtz is great. Lou Holtz made me watch Notre Dame. Lou Holtz made me fear Notre Dame. What was it like when you met Lou Holtz? Here's a guy that lived in his car, had a dream, said he was going to be the coach of Notre Dame, sold shoes, pretty much homeless. Now you get to meet this guy. Almost identical stories, so to speak.
I mean, he grew up as hard as you can grow up. Lived out of his car, sold shoes, assistant coach, worked his way up, was on the staff of Woody Hayes, with Bo Schembechler.
Yeah.
Okay. With Woody Hayes. Can you imagine how tough it was to be a coach under Woody Hayes?
Yeah.
I mean, he punched his starting quarterback in the face in practice. What's he doing to his assistant coaches? I mean, that's a rough way to grow up in the coaching industry. Right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, he was out of control. So Coach Holtz grew up hard. And he expected everybody around him to have that same level of toughness. I mean, he didn't give anybody any quarter. And push everybody to be as tough and as physical and combative as possible, or he wasn't going to play you. And he's not going to play anybody on the football field if he can't trust you. It's so funny. Kids talk about like they're 40 and how much they bench and how fast they are and they're great tacklers and all that. But listen, at the end of the day, to get on the field, when I talk to kids, I tell them this. I go, you want to get on the field? You want to be a star? Here's the first thing you need to know. Exactly what you're supposed to do. The coach has to be able to trust that you know what to do. Because if he trusts you, he'll play you. Even if you're not the best wide receiver, but if he knows you're going to run the out route when you're supposed to run the out route, he knows you're going to adjust that thing to a corner when it's supposed to adjust. If he can trust that you're going to execute, then he can put you on the field and trust you. So that's what Rocket and I did. We studied the playbook like crazy every night, over and over, studied and studied and studied. All the other kids are going out, having drinks, trying to figure out what to do, chasing ladies. Rocket and I were in the book, studying. We mastered the playbook. We mastered it. So 2 weeks in the training camp as a true freshman, Rocket and I were like running with the ones. Because here's what Coach Schultz does. He'd grab a freshman who's not paying attention and say, hey, Rod Smith, get in there. Get in with the number one offense. Then he calls some complicated thing. X-wing, right, flanker, right, reverse, X-wing, Trojan. Break huddle. And just to see if the freshman's going to pee on his leg. And most freshmen did. Rocket and I were like, okay, got you, coach. You go out there, make the adjustment, go in motion, go back across the motion, and run the right route. We did it over and over again in all these situations. So finally, that's how we end up making the team.
Did you and Rocket hit it off right off the bat when you guys met each other?
Coach Schultz?
No, you and Rocket Ismail. Did you guys hit it off as soon as you guys met?
Rocket's my guy, and we flew in together for the same recruiting trip. So we met each other on the recruiting trip, and I knew Rocket because he was number one in the nation in the 100-meter dash. Oh. He was the fastest kid in the country. Okay, and I was like maybe like 20th or something like that. So like I knew who he was because I got the list of the top 100 times in the nation. So I was number 20, he was number 1. So I knew him from track. Okay. So when we met, he was like, oh yeah, he goes, Minnesota, you won the state championship. I go, yeah. So like the track heads kind of know each other around the country. Like I know who the fastest kids in the country are. You know what I mean? We monitor each other. You know what I mean? We don't know each other, but you see them, right? So yeah, and we just hit it off. You know what I mean? And he's a very cerebral kid, you know, and I think I am too. And, you know, and we just hit it off like, hey, let's study together. You know what I mean? I'll quiz you, you quiz me, and let's help each other get better. And that relationship is what helped me get on the field as a true freshman.
So you mentioned off camera. Let's go back to Lou Holtz and his XYOZ route snake up the middle. He put you in a situation. I know this is a little off the key, but we gotta share this. You had a moment with Mr. Hall of Fame Jerome Bettis.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about that. Then we go back to that because I want to get that in because that shows you the mind of Lou Holtz.
Yeah. So here's what Coach Holtz does. He did it to me. Like I said, he takes a freshman, he throws him in with the number ones, and I'll be honest with you. Like, listen, I felt like I was on the borderline of panicking. You know what I mean? The first time he throws you in with the number one offense, and you're like, okay, do I know what to do? You're like, oh, I don't want to mess this up, like because every freshman he throws in screws up. Every freshman he throws in there runs the wrong route, screws up, misses the snap count, jumps offside. It's a disaster, and he does it just to let the freshmen know how far they have to go. Right. But Rocket and I were determined to go in there and make plays. So I know that he's going to do this to Jerome Bettis. Jerome Bettis is the number 1 ranked high school player in the world. Okay. All right. He's Bryce Young coming out of high school, the number 1 ranked player. All right. So I had just read Ronnie Lott's book, which is, he talks about, art of war. Like find out the opponent's best player and punch him right in the face. That's how you want to start the fight. Who's their best player? I'm knocking him out. So Jerome Bettis, I'm going to set the tempo. I'm a junior. I'm a starter. I'm gonna let the whole offense know, the whole Notre Dame family know. I'm gonna hit this number 1 ranked player in the country. I'm gonna knock his teeth out the first time I see him. So sure enough, Coach Holtz throws Jerome Bettis in as a freshman with the varsity. They run a draw play. I come flying up there. I don't hit him from the side. I don't give him like on his shoulders. I square him right up chest to chest. Come out of my legs, explode, hit him, bow, like this. My helmet comes off my head, lands 5 yards behind me. Listen, I said to myself, I was like, this guy's gonna be a problem. And it's just me, like, this kid is going to be a problem. Okay, like he's a freshman and just knocked my helmet off my head. I mean, thank God it didn't hit me in the face. It broke my nose. I was like, that's never happened to me before. It's never happened to me since. Jerome Bettis was a monster from day one, after 100%.
So back to your journey. So what was it really like to be Notre Dame? You're on the field, you're meeting everybody and stuff. When did the reality really set in for you? That you're there. You know the hard work. You're there. You're with people that you ran against. I mean, this is reality, and this is Disney World.
Yeah, it was crazy. And the thing is, you're under so much, the challenge is so great that I was consumed with just trying to get to the next goal. I really was. I mean, I almost didn't have time to I wish I had more time to really take pictures. I tried to take photos in my mind on the field, at USC, at Miami, Catholic versus convicts, Notre Dame games, like really look at the crowd and just taking the environment and the planes flying over and touchdown Jesus. And I have the pictures in my mind, at Tennessee, Florida in the Sugar Bowl, like these pictures in my mind, but on campus, I'm trying to graduate with honors. You know what I mean? I'm trying to graduate with a 3.3 grade point average, and I'm with a bunch of highly intelligent kids that are competing like mad, and I'm trying to beat these guys, and I'm playing football. And then on the football field, I'm playing against the best football players on the planet Earth, and everybody's trying to take my job, and everybody's going to get pads, and I'm exhausted every day, and I'm going until I throw up every day in practice. Like every day was a fight for survival until you could lay down and go to bed. I almost didn't have time to take it around and really look at it. And I kind of remember some walks across campus when I really tried to memorize what I saw, but everything else was just about trying to get another A, trying to get a B, trying to be a starter or stay being a starter, trying to get better, stronger, faster. Was so much energy on just trying to get better. That was the whole day was competition. And trying to get better. It's either resting, feeding, or competing. That was it, and academically and athletically.
Take me down the moment when you got that starting position? What was the fire that led you to get that starting position? And when you did get that, your chance to showcase your talent, what was that like?
It was interesting, and it's funny. This is the most impactful moment of my athletic career, and one of the most impactful, I mean, top 3 moments of my entire life was my junior year. I started 3 or 4 games as a sophomore. Stan Smigalo was our starter. He got injured, so I came in and started a couple games. Had some good games. Went into the next season. I was spring player of the year. Had a great spring. So I'm a junior. I'm a starter. We go week 1. We're playing Michigan. The first night game in Notre Dame Stadium in 25 years. We've got 17 million people watching it. Bo Schembechler's on the sideline. But there was this kid out there named Desmond Howard. I didn't know who he was.
I did.
I figured out who he was pretty quick though. The first play of the game, Andre, they threw a slant to him. They threw a hitch to him. Okay. I went up to I was going to blast him. I missed him. Nothing but air. Gain 18. Okay. They run the ball the next play. Thank goodness. Then they run a quick out. I missed the tackle again. Gain of 22. Okay. This is going bad on national television. It's going bad. Okay. Thank God they run the ball a couple of times. Then they run a post corner on me, touchdown, Michigan. That's how my starting career. Not my sophomore year, a couple of starts. This is my first year as a junior, the full-on starter. It's going bad.
So Michigan gets the ball. Wait a minute. So the viewers can understand. Explain to them exactly what a full-on start means, because they don't understand what that actually means. This is your time to shine. You've been in the games, but now you're on prime time against Bo Schembechler, the dude that asked you the question, why you going there. Just get real. You want to shine. If anything, to show this dude, this is why you should have picked me. But explain to the viewers what that actually means from you, what that means to get that moment.
Yeah, that's a great point you're making. There's a big difference between filling in for a starter. Stan Smigalo is a starter at left corner. Todd Light's a starter at field corner, okay, for Notre Dame. Those are the starters. Stan gets injured, so Rod, the backup, comes in, the nickelback. I come in and I'm the starter, but I'm the starter for that week. Then I'm the starter the next week, and then I'm the starter the following week, and then Stan comes back in. As soon as Stan's able to play, Stan is the starter. It's Stan's job. I'm just filling in. That's different than being the starter. Okay. My junior year, I am the starter. The left cornerback position is mine, is Rod Smith. And as long as I'm healthy, it is my job to lose. It's very different. I'm not filling in, it's my job. And Desmond Howard is killing me on national television. So the next series, Michigan gets the ball. They throw an in route to Desmond Howard. He beats me again for 22. They throw a slant to Desmond Howard, beats me for 18. And Coach Holtz pulls me out of the game. He says, "Hey, you okay? Yeah, what's going on with you?" And I go, "No, I'm good, Coach. I'm good. But the truth is, I'm panicking.
Yeah.
I'm scared to death. I've never been beat like this in my life. I've never been beaten like this by a receiver in my life. I don't know what's going on. I'm missing tackles. I'm a good tackler. I can't tackle all of a sudden. I can't get my hands on this guy. I try to change the leverage and play him a little softer, and that's making it worse, giving him more space. He's taking advantage of it. He's killing me. They throw to him again on a fade route. Touchdown, Desmond Howard. Desmond Howard scored on me twice in the first 2 drives of the game. Okay. Then the next drive, they get the ball. Okay. They run a post corner on me again for another touchdown. I've given up 3 touchdowns. Listen to this. I've given up 21 points by myself. Okay. In the first quarter and a half of the game. Okay. Listen, Coach Holtz pulls me out of the game. He goes, "Listen, you're out of there." I get to the sidelines. I look up and I see my grandmother, my mother, and my father. They're in like the 3rd row in the 44-yard line. My grandmother is crying. She's got her face in her hands like this, and she's tearing. My mom's trying to console her. Andre, there's only been one time in my entire life where I wasn't sure I wanted to be on the planet. That was it. There's only one time, let me start tears. There's only one time in my life where I wasn't sure I wanted to be on this planet. That was it. I was like, if I could have crawled under this stadium, I'd have crawled under there. I've never been so embarrassed and humiliated, and I panicked. And I'll tell you, I panicked. I didn't know what to do. I started playing soft. I didn't know. I lost my mind. I lost, and I went into that game as a preseason All-American, and I left that game on the bench by the end of the first half. I don't play it down the rest of the game. I'm not on special teams. I'm not on anything. I'm not on nickel. I'm out of the game. The next day, after thank God, Rick Meyer makes some touchdowns, winning the football game. Okay. Barely. I almost lost the game for my entire team, ruined our national championship title hopes by myself. Just Rod Smith, not the team, me. Okay. Next day, knock on my door at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's a GA. He says, "Listen, Coach Holtz wants to see you." 6 a.m. in the morning. I go, "All right." So I go in the office. It's Sunday morning. Coach Holtz says, "Hey, listen, that's a pretty bad start for you. It's a bad day. Right? So here's what I'm gonna do. You got a lot going on. I don't know what it is with your football, but like I'm gonna take you out of that starting role, okay? And then you have a chance to earn your way back. All right." I go, "Fine, Coach. I appreciate you. Just get out of my office." So I'm out of the office. So I'm moping around the rest of the day, go out to practice, and you know what? I'm not on second team. There's a scout team jersey in my locker.
Oh my God!
I'm on scout team. I didn't play scout team as a true freshman. I've never played it down on scout team. So now I'm on scout team. So I'm moping around. I don't do anything. I'm just kind of going through the motions, feeling sorry for myself. The other players on the team hardly want to look at me because I almost ruined the whole season for them. All right. I'm not having a lot of conversations with the guys. The coaches don't want to look at me. I mean, people won't even make eye contact with me. They're so embarrassed and disgusted. Right. And I get it. So was I. I called my dad and said, "Listen, I'm on scout team." He goes, "What?" I go, "Yeah, I'm on scout team." He goes, "Listen, I'll be down there for dinner tonight. We need to have a conversation."
People need to understand what a scout team actually is, because they don't know. You went from being on the team, practicing with the first, second, starting, playing, seeing action, to you on the scout. What is a scout team, so they understand what that is?
Scout team is where primarily it's walk-ons and freshmen. And what they do is they give the number one offense. So the scout team defense gives the number 1 and number 2 offense, the offensive starters, gives them a look. So what we do is, if you're on scout team, if I'm on scout team, I'm acting like Michigan. I'm going to run Michigan's defense, and in practice, I'm going to simulate Michigan's defense against my offense. So I'm not working on Notre Dame stuff, right? I'm showing our offense Michigan stuff. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
it puts you're helping the team, but you're not growing as much individually because you're not running Notre Dame plays. I'm running Michigan plays. All right. And again, it's for walk-ons and for freshmen primarily, right?
So your dad comes
So
into town, then what happens?
so Pops comes in. Pops comes in the next day, and I'm at practice, and I'm moping around. It's raining. I look over, see my dad on the sidelines. My dad's on the sidelines at Notre Dame, close practice, standing on the sidelines in coaching gear, full coaching gear. Okay, hat on, coaching park, all that ring, and he looks at me, Andre, and he goes like this. Let's go. Which is what he did to me when he was my basketball coach way back in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. And that means turn it up. That means I need more intensity out of you. Get it going. All right. You're not playing hard enough. Turn it up. I said, all right, Dad. So I gave a little bit effort. I still kind of moped around. We get out of there. We go to dinner. My dad says, I got to tell you some things. And I'll tell you what, Andre, this is the beginning of the rest of my life. This is, if there's anything, is there any moment where I became a pro, it was here. It was right here. I didn't know this. I didn't know it at the time. But at 53, looking back on it, this is where it started. My dad looked at me at dinner and he said, listen, I got to tell you some things that you're going to find difficult to listen to. But you got to hear this. Here's the first thing. If you ever thought you had any control over how much you practice, you're wrong. That's a Coach Holt's decision. He makes a decision. And he may decide to never play you again. Your career at the University of Notre Dame could be over where you sit. You may never wear that gold helmet again on a Saturday the rest of your life. You need to accept that. That's painful. That's the bad news. Here's the good news. Somebody has to be the most physical, the most prepared, the most well-rested, the best fed, most physical, most combative, most aggressive, most combative practice football player in the history of Notre Dame football, 133 years. You have an opportunity on a scout team in Notre Dame to practice against Rick Meyer, who ended up being the number 2 pick of the draft. Jerome Bettis was in the Hall of Fame. Ricky Waters will be in the Hall of Fame. Rocket Ismail would have been the number 1 player in the draft. And their tight end, Derrick Brown, was the number 7th player in the draft. There's no better talent in the world than our Notre Dame starting offense. If you can find a way to beat those guys in practice, you can beat anybody.
Yeah.
So your charge is going to be to go to practice and fight those guys tooth and nail every day until you can beat them. Forget about playing. That's not your decision. Forget about ever wearing that gold helmet. Forget about Saturdays. Forget about Touchdown Jesus. Forget all of that. Forget Notre Dame Stadium. What your deal is fighting like hell in practice on a day-to-day basis. It's another thing. I gotta tell you something else. He goes, listen, when was the last time you got kicked out of practice? I said, kicked out of practice? I've never been kicked out of practice. No, I never been kicked out of practice. He goes, that's your problem. That's your problem. He goes, you practice hard? I go, yeah, I give great effort. He goes, no, you don't. Coach Holtz doesn't think so. Because if Coach Holtz thought that you were playing too hard, if Coach Holtz thought that you were giving too much effort, if that you were too physical, that you were too combative, he'd tell you. But he's never told you. He's never said to you, hey, Rod, take it down a notch. You're too physical today. Hey, Rod, take it down a notch. You're playing with too much intensity. No. Hey, Rod, it's too much for you. Just take it down a notch. It's too much. You're too intense. You're too physical. You're playing too hard. You want to know why he's never told you that, Rod? Because he doesn't think it's true. So what you need to do is close the gap. You think practicing like this is full speed. Coach Holtz thinks this is full speed. And you need to keep up in the level, up in the intensity until Coach Holtz says, hey, too much intensity, you take it down a notch. And if you keep doing this, Rod, I'm kicking you out of practice. And once you get kicked out of practice, now you know where the line is. So now, every practice, your goal is to get as close to the line as possible without crossing it.
Wow.
Close the gap. You think you're practicing hard, he doesn't. And if he does, he'll let you know. And you'll know when he kicks you out of practice. And I think it's every 2 or 3 weeks, you may want to cross the line just to make sure you're just
it had to be humbling, but more importantly, you got to feel blessed as hell to have your father recognize the errors and the wisdom to see how to elevate you to the next level. It goes back to what we just said. Sometimes you gotta fall, even though you think you up there, to say, hey, you know what? you can really be better. How do you
A hun-
overcome? How do you overcome? How do you get back on that field?
100%. So I go out to practice, and the last thing he said, and I wouldn't tell you this if I didn't think I know my son, and I wouldn't tell you this if I didn't think he had it in you. I mean, start crying and thinking about it. So it's so crazy how good that advice is. So I got to practice. So I got to practice and go to war every day with every player on scout team. I'm trying to knock rocket in the Gatorade. And listen, this isn't cheap shots. This isn't hitting anybody late. None of that. I'm talking about eyeball to eyeball. You see me coming, I see you coming, and you got hit harder than you wanted to. And I'm trying to knock everybody out. And I lost a lot of fights. I'm not saying like I won every confrontation. You know, you're not going to knock out Ricky Waters and Jerome Bettis and Rocket Ismail and win every down. No, I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is I competed on a level that I thought was for the Super Bowl. And sure enough, coaches were like, "Hey, take it down a notch." I was like, "Oh, am I practicing too hard?" And I said to the coaches, I said, "Oh, am I practicing too hard for you? You want me to be lazy? If you want somebody to give you half effort, then you need to find somebody else. If I'm on the field, it's 100%. He's got pads on. He's got a helmet on. This was full pads practice. This was full contact practice. So you're getting full contact. If you don't want full contact, then you need to get me off the field. Because if I'm on the field, it's full contact.
You know,
I thought this was full contact practice. It says full contact in the locker room. If that's not what it is, then you need to change the locker room.
You know what?
The coach was like, "Hey, don't talk back." I'm like, "I'm not talking back. I'm giving you attention. If you don't want it, then you get me out of here. That's on you."
You know what?
Don't tell me to take it down. You take it down. And they were like, "Whoa!" So finally, the coach was like, "Hey, take it down, Rod. Take it down, Rod." I said, "I'm not taking it down. I'm turning it up." He goes, "Get on that practice." He kicked me up the practice field. He kicked me out. Like it took me like 2 weeks. He kicked me out, and I was like, "Oh!" I was like, "Yes, yes." So I get in the locker room, and it's funny because our head trainer, Big John, I walk in the training room, and John walks up to me, and John doesn't talk to anybody. John doesn't talk to anybody. He walked up in my locker and he said, "Keep doing what you're doing," and walked off.
Hey, check this out, Rod. I think I've kind of figured out what you missed here. I just listen to this. I think I figured out what you missed. You remember when you went back and you said the dude when you did the Oklahoma?
Yes.
You came out and you said, "I'm gonna make sure that I come." Maybe you lost that drive for that moment. Maybe you went into the land of comfortability and confidence.
That is a great point. I don't care. Finish your thought. Like that's you're dead right.
You forgot that one particular moment of your life that you said from now on it's going to be past in blah blah blah. Maybe you got into that land of overconfidence.
Oh, 100%. I was comfortable. I was a starter. I started games as a sophomore. I was on a bunch of preseason All-American lists as a junior. I was a star. I was a budding Notre Dame cornerback superstar, and I was just walking around feeling good, lifting weights, doing what the coaches asked me to do. I wasn't doing any extra. The coach would say, "I want you to lift this weight 5 times." I lifted 5 times and I'm out.
Yeah.
After this thing, my junior year, like you're talking about, you're 100% right. After this, I was asking the coaches, "Hey, listen, during this 7 weeks where Coach Holtz benched me, I was in the locker room first. I was the first guy in the locker room for the weight train, the last guy to leave. I was like, "Coach, I need to get better." Desmond Howard just took my soul on national television. And I'm going to see him again next year as a senior. And I need to get better. I need to get better for this cat. I need to get stronger. So I did the workout you asked me to. I did all the workout. But how do I get better? And he said, "Well, Rod, if you're willing to stay in here another half hour, I'll work with you." I'm like, "Cool." So now I'm in with their strength coach one-on-one for a half hour every single day after practice. Getting better. I asked my coach, "Hey, coach, I missed tackles with Desmond Howard. Took my soul on national television. Can you help me get better at tackling? Can you just give me 5 minutes after practice?" He goes, "No, I'll give you 15 minutes. Let's work on it." So and also I got a defensive back coach working with me one-on-one 15 minutes after every practice on tackling, getting better. I dropped interceptions. "Hey, receiver coach, listen, I'm not a receiver. I'm a defensive back. Listen, can you help me? I need to get better receivers. Can you give me jugs for just 5 minutes after practice?" He goes, "Yeah, I'll help you get better, Rod." So now I got 15 minutes with the defensive backs coach, and I got 5 minutes with the receivers coach. One-on-one, catching balls, getting better. I'm doing extra. I'm doing everything they asked me to do, and then I'm doing more. And after 7 weeks of this, Coach Schultz walks up to me in practice, scout team, and he goes, "Rod Smith, you're starting next week against Tennessee." And you know what I said to him, Andre? It's a true story. I said, You don't have to do that. He said, what? I said, you don't have to play me. And he goes, God damn it, God damn it, Rod. Your ass is starting against Tennessee. Get your ass ready to go. Get down there with the damn defense right now. Get out of my face. That's what he said. And I wasn't saying trying to be smart, Alec. It sounds like that came from my heart. I literally was like, listen, I'm out of that. I don't, I'm out of that. It's funny. Look, quick story before that is after about 2 weeks of this, Ricky Waters in the shower, all the players in the locker room. Ricky Waters goes, hey, Smith, he's my guy. Ricky's one of my best friends. He goes, hey, Rod, why are you trying to show it on scout team and trying to get your job back? That's not how you get your job back. You know what I mean? And I said, you know what? Here's the thing, Ricky. Go tell Coach Holtz that I don't care if I never play another down at this university ever again. Listen, the whole locker room, Andre, you've been like, Andre, you know how it goes. The whole locker room was like, oh. I mean, everybody's like, I mean, literally the shower stopped, the music started. Nobody would say that. That's why we're here, to play football. Notre Dame, to be like, who says they never care if they play another down? Who would say that? I literally let it go. Get it? I forgot about doing the work, not related to the reward.
Yeah.
Forget the reward. So if you're working and you got to get rewarded, you're not. Then you're a slave. Then you're a slave. You're free when you just do the work, and you just do the work, and you just do the work, and you just do the work. That's why Coach Holtz, I said, listen, you don't have to play me. I don't care if you play me or not. Honest to God, I swear to you, Christ on the cross, like I let that go. I'm just gonna show up to practice every day and give 150%, like you've never seen before. You have to kick me out of practice and play so hard, and let the chips fall where they may.
Right.
So we put me on the field in Tennessee. I had the game-winning interception, and the rest is history. And that's what happened. I went to Tennessee, battled like hell against Alvin Harper and Carl Pickens, 2 first-round draft choice wide receivers, superstars. Right. Battled Todd Light and I battled these cats. It was a great game. We battled. They won some. We won some. At the end of the game, they tried to take advantage of me on a post corner. I picked the damn thing off. Game over. That's how I ended the game, with the game-winning interception. Game over. Notre Dame's headed to the Orange Bowl, and I was a starter for the rest of my career. It was done.
Let's go to your senior year. You got to get revenge before we wrap up. Let's go to the revenge game. Let's go to the revenge game with Mr. Howard. What was that like?
It was fantastic. It was great. I mean, and I didn't have like a great statistical game, even though I was on Desmond most of the game. It's funny because Desmond caught the game-winning touchdown pass on us. All right, so people kind of remember him doing that touchdown, that touchdown thing and all that to win the Heisman. He did that Heisman Trophy on a reverse. He scored and did the Heisman thing and all that. I was on him, and I got him turned back in on that play, but I had, my guys got blocked and he scored and touchdowns. But like, and on that last play of the game when he scored the game-winning touchdown, I wasn't on him. We called timeout. Okay, we get the silence. Coach Holtz, Coach Holtz is like, listen, Rod, I'm gonna put you on the opposite side of the field. I go, no. He goes, I'm gonna put Jeff Burris and Jeff Burris. It wasn't Tom Carter. It was Jeff Burris and it's Jeff Burris and Greg, our strong safety. Are going to double team Desmond Howard. I'm going to put you on the weak side because you're going to be the only man over there. We're going to put all our strength on the strong side to help against Desmond Howard. I go, no, put me on Desmond. Put me on Desmond. He goes, no, you've been on him all day long. Like, you're on the other side. You're on the other side. We're going to double team on that side. You got the other side. You're going to be by yourself. I mean, I was like, all right. So he put me in one-on-one single coverage on the other side. They double team Desmond, and Desmond beat them both for a touchdown to give him the game. Listen, Desmond Howard's a great football player, right? I mean, like, he beat our double team for a touchdown. But Coach Holtz put me on the other side, so I wasn't on him. So people remember that game, Desmond Howard, with those 2 plays, but I wasn't on him those 2 plays. Those are the 2 plays where he wasn't with me. The rest of the game, I was trying to kill him. I was. I didn't. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Desmond Howard's a stud. But like, I was trying to murder him. I was competing like hell. I was trying to get him, and those 2 plays would stand out. But it's funny. And as a pros, I chased him in the pros too. When he was in Green Bay, I was chasing him around, tackling him. You can look at the film. This is 98 Carolina Panthers versus Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship game. I'm tackling Desmond as hard as I can tackle him. I'm the first play of the game. The kickoff return. He had a big kickoff return. I trapped him down and body slammed him into the Gatorade. I'm still mad. You know what I mean?
Before we wrap up, I'm gonna end with 2 things. We definitely gonna come back and have you on to talk about your NFL career, because your journey is so remarkable, and I'm glad you're willing to share it here. But before we close out, we got to talk about University of Miami and the Hurricanes. What was your memory when you played there?
Okay. The
Give me a
biggest
good
game
moment. Give me a good moment for you there.
the biggest game I've ever played in my life was Notre Dame Miami as a freshman at Notre Dame. That's bigger than the NFC Championship game. There was more people cared about Miami Notre Dame than cared about Carolina Panthers versus Green Bay Packers to go to the Super Bowl. It was bigger. And a lot of pro people can't understand that, but that's how big this Catholic versus convicts thing was. Notre Dame versus Miami. And it was a great game. I played about 15 snaps on offense, didn't catch anything, just blocked, playing wide receiver, played all the special teams. Miami had all these great players. I'll tell you one thing that was crazy about this. Is that Rocket and I would sneak in and watch game film, right? So we're watching game film, watching Miami before that week of practice. You know what we realized?
What's that?
For all the nonsense about like, Luke Skywalker and the drums and the fatigues and the sunglasses and Miami in the background and all this and bikinis and all that nonsense. You know what Miami was really about?
What's that?
Discipline and toughness.
Thank you.
Just like we were. They played their cover 3 just like we played our cover 3. They played their cover 2 just like we played cover 2.
Thank you.
They ran the same run plays that we ran. They ran ISO, they ran 24 power, they ran 36 power, they ran 38. It looked just like us. Miami was beating people with discipline, sound fundamentals, and great athletes. Not just all this Miami's got all this speed. No. They got some speed, but they're disciplined and they're tough. And they do the right thing every time, just like we do. You could change the jerseys, Notre Dame, Miami, you wouldn't know who was who.
Thank you.
All of that flash is flash. The reason why Jimmy Johnson and the Miami Hurricanes were the best college football program in the world for a decade, for 20 years, was because they were disciplined. They were thoughtful. They were tough. They were combative, and they represent like hell at the point of attack.
When that game
that's what it was.
When that game was over, that was a major game. When that game was over, what was the feeling for you guys in the locker room?
Phew, thank God. Because Jimmy Johnson decided to go for 2 to win the football game. At the end of that game, Jimmy Johnson could have kicked the field goal, tied the thing 31, and he'd have had this ring on right now. Because they'd have stayed number 1, we'd have stayed number 2. But Jimmy Johnson wasn't trying to tie the football game. Jimmy Johnson was trying to win the football game. And like he said, when I get on the plane to fly somewhere, I'm getting on that plane to win the football game. And Jimmy Johnson went for 2. They didn't get it because that's the kind of man he is. And everybody in the Notre Dame locker room after that thing, we didn't say it publicly. We said it privately. Who wouldn't want to play for that guy? The kind of courage he has, the commitment to winning the game. Winning the game is more important than the national championship to this guy. How can you not admire that kind of savage? Are you kidding me? When Miami scored that touchdown, he walked on the field, he stopped them, he called the play himself and said, run it, and walked off the field. He was going to go for 2 before they even got that ball. That's what kind of man Jimmy Johnson is. And we knew it in the locker room. We were like, we just dodged a bullet. Because that dude is a different kind of man. And I don't know if I'd have gone for 2. I got to be honest. But Jimmy Johnson sure as hell did. And they didn't win the game. But if you can respect and understand what kind of commitment he has to winning the game, he doesn't do it. I'm trying to win the game. Listen, we were like, phew, thank God we don't see those guys for another 12 months. Because that's a different animal right there. We knew he went to the pros. We're like, oh, he's going to win champions. He's going to win Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Oh, we all knew. We're like, oh, that guy's going to win Super Bowls. Like, you book it. You know what I mean? Yeah. We were thankful that the game was over.
With that said, we're going to wrap up. You had a great life journey to Notre Dame. We're going to have you back to talk about your stay in the NFL.
Let's do that. And I've got a staffing business and a speaking business that I'd love your help on and getting some more speaking gigs. And it's been good and successful. And with your platform, we could probably take it to another level. So I'd appreciate your help.
how can the people reach out to you for public speaking and engagement and a little bit of what you're doing right now before we wrap up?
And this one I need my wife here. She's got the information about the website. It's the official Rod Smith. I think we're official Rod Smith now. I've got a website up, and then we also got a TikTok page, Real Rod Smith, and yeah, you can you just look up Rod Smith. I think it might be Rod Smith ND. I should know this, right? It's embarrassing. But I have a website up. Look up Rod Smith, Google it, and come to the website, and you can get connected.
Two-part question before we end. Through your journey to Notre Dame, the road to Notre Dame, what did you learn from it? And then the second question is, leave the viewers with something that only you can tell them.
What I learned from Notre Dame was my experience there was confirmation that you really that we need to be proactive. Okay. Don't let life, don't let things, don't let business, don't let relationships happen. Determine, make a plan on what you want to happen, and then execute your plan. And separate the work, the effort from the reward. Decide what you want to do, develop a plan, and then attack it on a day-to-day basis, regardless of the outcome. That will lead to more success. And one thing I can only tell you that Ross can tell you is that that for a high school kid, getting to the NFL is incredibly difficult. Even if you are the best player in your state, that the best thing you can do to have a successful life is to educate yourself. There is no greater statistic for lifetime wealth, lifetime earnings than education, level of education. All right. It's not being a football player. It's not being a great business person. It's not being a superstar or musical and all that and acting. It is level of education. If you educate yourself, you're going to have a successful life. So I'd encourage everybody and all the high school kids to go to the best school you can and work as hard on your education as anything else. And that'll lead to a successful life.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another exciting episode of the Andre the Beast Crayton Show.